And joining us now live to further discuss the Russia-Ukraine war and road to peace is Kervin Aucoin, former lead intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance coordinator for the U.S. Army, as well as the host of This Week Explained podcast. Always good to see you, Kervin. Thanks for joining us. With President Trump's election win, his team gave Russia an opportunity to reset relations, but now it's 100 days into his administration, and following Putin's latest drone attack on Kyiv that resulted in civilian casualties, Trump seems to be changing his tone, right? A strong and direct words for Putin, then the sidebar conversation at the Vatican last week with Zelenskyy, and now the minerals deal is signed. So what are your observations and expectations from here on out? Kervin, I'm not getting... Oh, there we go. I wasn't getting your sound at first. Thank you.
All right. Sorry, just letting you guys, thank you so much for having me on. What I will say, first of all, is the relationship between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin is extremely frayed right now. Finally, President Trump is lashing out at Putin. He is seeing what analysts had thought would happen early on in his new administration, is that Putin will try to string him along long enough to gather more land within Ukraine in order for Russia to come to the negotiating table with all of the cards on the table and having the winning hand. And so as we see, Russia's not negotiating in good faith in a ceasefire deal. Now, where does this put Ukraine? Ukraine signs a mineral deal with the United States. That gives Ukraine some security protections. There's a lot of conversation about, do they have security protections? Do they not? Luckily enough for Ukraine, they did not disavow EU membership. So that could be on the table right now. And what it does is it protects certain parts of Ukraine from further Russian aggression, because the United States now has they're in the game on this. And so if they want these minerals, they cannot let Russia take over that land.
Now, with these latest statements from the Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov saying a peace deal remains elusive, yet Putin did signal that a ceasefire is coming. Are they playing good cop, bad cop here, or are they simply stalling?
Well, they're absolutely stalling. So I would agree with Peskov. The deal is complicated right now. And that's because of this mineral deal. And that is all part of what Ukraine wants to do. They want to make it more complicated so that Russia comes to the table and they're going to have to capitulate on things. Right now, Putin is saying that unless Ukraine capitulates on everything that Russia wants, he's not going to sign a peace deal. And look, Russia doesn't even abide by the peace deals that are in place. They have reneged on both Minsk agreements. This aggression here is against the ceasefire deals that have been in place. So as of right now, what we're seeing is Russia stalling so that they can take more land and then have that on the table when they actually come to negotiate.
Then how much further do you expect President Trump to allow this to go before taking some financial or other type of retaliatory action against Russia?
I think we're there now. I think this getting this agreement is part of that. Look, it looks to me like the February event that happened in the Oval Office led to a stalling of the agreement, and that was part of what the Kremlin wanted, to not have this in place. So this is a shot directly at Russia that, the U.S. is no longer going to negotiate with Putin until he comes in good faith and he offers up some concessions in this.
Now, if Trump were to take financial action against Russia, how does that play into the trade war with China?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. I think it enhances the trade war with China, but I think China then adds more resources into Russia, because Russia, they're in a wartime economy right now. If the U.S. makes it more difficult on Russia to fund their war and their aggression in Ukraine, Vladimir Putin's going to go to Xi Jinping and he is going to ask for more economically, for more militarily. And I think China is going to allow that, because the goal of China and Russia and Iran is an anti-Western goal, and it is a goal to diminish the United States.
Yeah, and as we finish up, you've told me before that Russia is in a wartime economy. These are large tariffs. We're hearing about factories closing in China. So how long can both of them hold on and, essentially put their populations through austerity measures?
Yeah, another great question. And because they're an authoritative government, I think that they can go as long as they want. Is there going to be an uprising in Russia or China in the near future? Probably not. It's such an authoritarian government, and there's such a heavy hand on demonstrations, especially in Russia against the war and against the aggression in Ukraine. So that's going to take a while, but what's going to happen here is the people of those countries are going to suffer, and they're going to suffer immensely over the next few years, maybe decade. But look, we are getting very close to a Chinese invasion of Taiwan and a U.S. decision on whether they are going to defend that island and start what could be another global conflict.
So much to unpack there, Kervin, especially with the signals that Xi may be losing power inside of China due to his own health issues. So it's becoming very complex. Have to speak about this again with you very soon. Kervin Aucoin, thanks for joining this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, and stay safe out there.